Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Excel. In this module I want to show you three very simple uses of the Lambda function in Excel. This is for beginners. If you've never used it before, this will get you going. Now on the screen I've got three completed examples and I'm just going to step through each one in turn. So on the left I've got a function that I've created, a Lambda function that I've created that's going to convert miles into kilometers. So that's the name of the function, and that is the function using the Lambda feature. Now how do I do this? Now in the name manager you'll see these Lambda functions. If I go into the name manager, I've created three functions. So this is basically the Lambda feature allows you to create your own functions in the front end of Excel. So I've created one called kilo, one called sax, and one called VAT. If I just close this for a second, so you can see them here. This is the VAT one. So once you've created it, you just refer to it like that, VAT G2, and it works it out. That one's called kilo B2, that just works it out. And this one's called sax, and it works out the conversion from kilogram to pounds, 2.2. So this is how you do it. So first of all, you have to check that the formula that you're going to use is going to work. So basically this one is just, if I just type this out down here, so if I just go 10 and then I want to work out what that is in kilograms, so it would just be equals that times 1.6. It's not exact, but that'll do for this example, and that gives me the answer 16. So if you create a Lambda function, you can refer to that anywhere in this workbook because it sits in the name manager. So that works, and then I'll do a Lambda function on that in a second. This one is just doing times 0.2 on a figure. So if I type 100 in there, so I check that this one would work. So it's going to be equals that times 0.2, and then that should work. 20, and then this one is 2.2, so 1 there, it would be equals that times 2.2, and that comes up with the answer. So what you do is you know that works, so then you go into the name manager, and I'll just call this one test new. I'll just call it test, and I'll do this one. So the name is going to be test, and then you do the Lambda function down the bottom here. So I'll just get rid of that and type Lambda, open the bracket. So now you have to give it a name. So I'll use the word test in all the elements of this. So I'm going to refer to test. Now what is test? I'll do a comma. Test is going to be 1.6. So in brackets 1.6. Close that bracket. And then times test. So you can see that that's coming in twice. Times test. And then you close that. So this Lambda function is now called test, which is just going to repeat that. If I click OK and close it for a second and then just type 10 there, now I should be able to go equals test because I've got myself a little function. Open the bracket on it, there it is. Click on that cell, close the bracket, click the tick, and then you get the answer. So I'll do the VAT one. So if I go back up to the name manager, new, and I'll call this tests, just call it tests, and then you put your Lambda function down here, get rid of all this. So it's going to be equals Lambda, open the bracket, calling it tests, comma, and then that's going to be 0.2, close the bracket, times tests with an S on it, close the name, that looks okay, click OK to that. So we've got one called test, which is going to do the VAT. So if I delete this one and just type equals tests with an S, click on the cell, close the bracket, press enter or click the tick, and you get the answer there. The last one over here is to convert kilograms into pounds, so I'll call this one testing. So you go into the name manager, new, calling it testing, testing, and then you put the lambda function in here. So lambda, open the bracket, and then testing is what I'm going to call it, comma, open the brackets 2.2 to do the conversion, times testing, close the lambda bracket, just check that, click OK, and then close this, and then that should work, equals testing, there's your function, open the bracket, has only got one argument really, click on that, close the bracket, press enter or click the tick, whichever you like to do, and then that should work it out. Now when you're giving names to these lambda functions, you've got to be careful that you don't use a function name that already exists in Excel, so just check that when you decide to call it. That's why I'm using testing. There's not testing in test is fairly simple, but I did check first off that there weren't any functions. You can always just, if you think of a name, you can just type it equals test if it doesn't come up. So these are mine and these are Excel, so not a test by itself, or there are lots of tests with word test in it, but not how I've done it. So you just have to check that and be careful. But that's all I want to talk about in this little video, how to use the lambda feature to create your own functions, and this is just for beginners because you can get a lot more complicated than this. But thank you for your time on this one. I'll catch you on the next one.